This first part is mainly about contradiction when speaking about love, but it is also about love itself. To feel love is probably the best activity we can do. The radiance of love into this world of form is blocked by fear. Definition of love. Many agree with the words about love given. For example, in the Bible, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. Eckhart Tolle describes love very clearly and beautifully. Love is a state of being. Your love is not outside. It is deep within you. You can never lose it, and it can never leave you. It is not dependent on some other body, on some external form. In the stillness of your presence, you can feel your own formless and timeless reality as the unmanifested life that animates your physical form. You can then feel the same life in every other human and every other creature. You look beyond the veil of form and separation. That is the realization of oneness. That is love. True love will not cause you suffering. That is the beginning of the awareness of oneness, which is love. Love is present in you as a felt awareness of oneness. If you are fully identified with the identity of your form, you cannot feel love. Your task is not to search for love, but to find the portal through which love can enter. What is love? To feel the presence of that one life deep within yourself and in other beings, to be that presence. Love is not selective, just as the sun is not selective. It does not make one person special. It is not reserved only for certain groups of people. However, the intensity with which we feel true love may not be the same. There may be one person who reflects your love back to you more clearly and intensely than others. If that person feels the same toward you, we can say that you are in a love relationship with him or her. The bond that connects you with such a person is the same bond that connects you with the person sitting next to you on the bus, or with a bird, a tree, a flower. Only the intensity with which it is felt differs. Giving space to others, and to yourself, is essential. Without that, love cannot thrive. Awareness of your oneness with everything that exists. That is love. Quoting Tolle is almost like quoting all enlightened people, such as Buddha, Jesus, Osho, Lao Tzu, etc., at once, because he states the same thing as they do, but in the language of our present society. He says that love is the feeling of awareness of our true essence in other people and in all creatures. With that feeling, we automatically love our neighbor as ourselves. Love your neighbor as yourself. In the state of love, our neighbor in his true essence is exactly the same as us. The true essence of us and of our neighbor is the same. Then, for example, we don't even argue about whether we should first take care of ourselves or of others. If we are in the state of love, both are the same, and we can do both at once. It is a feeling where we are happy regardless of circumstances, and we feel oneness with everything around us. But on the other hand, sometimes, for example, someone goes under a train because of romantic infatuation and claims it was for love. The suicide was dead on the spot because his head was cut off by the locomotive's wheels. A letter was found on him in which he wrote that he committed his act out of unhappy love. Love, true love, can never lead a person to suffering, let alone such suffering that a person decides to kill himself or to kill someone else. By kill, I mean in the usual sense of the word, to end the life of a physical body and mind. In the Old Testament, it is stated clearly, for example, that love believes, is patient, endures all things, etc. Was that what was going on in the head of that suicide? It should be clear that one does not kill for love, because it is such a heavenly feeling in which negative feelings and thoughts have no place. Unless, in cases like those with the suicide, it was not love at all, but, for example, obsession, dependency. Another of many similar cases concerns a girl who stepped in front of a train. In her letter, she wrote, "Daniel was a good boy. I loved him very much. But you would not let me have him. I can't go on anymore." A person who feels true love is happy, and that is not at all the case for someone who suffers so much that they can no longer endure the suffering. It is often people who lack love the most who resort to suicide. For our life, we need to feel at least some love. The more, the better. Another contradiction is, for example, in the lyrics of the famous band Elon, which I do not mean to disparage at all, only to use something well known and to point out that mistakes can exist even in such a good band. The boys are sick because of her. If the boys are sick from something, it is, for example, uncontrolled, intense thinking about their desires. But according to the New Testament, love is patient, does not envy. Boys or girls are sick because they want to fulfill their desires immediately. They often envy, etc. But that is not love. Or, in another song, that love sometimes hurts so beautifully. Love does not hurt. What hurts is unhealthy, uncontrolled thinking. Of course, we could say that by the word love, the author and singer in the lyrics means something else than what is described in the texts of spiritual people. But then why does the same band in another song very clearly describe true love? Love is everywhere. Hustlers vainly hope they can buy it. A psychologist cannot figure it out, for it is not stupid. And in my opinion, by feeling it is possible to distinguish that in the song with lyrics, where the singer sings about true love, love radiates from the singer more than in the song where the singer sings only about infatuation. Fine, if the author of the mentioned song means by love only infatuation, then he can still be consistent. But I am writing about people who hear the text from the New Testament about the love in church and nod their heads in agreement. Yes, that is love. And then they come home, read in the newspaper something like that about the mentioned suicides, and say that love hurts. So either someone considers infatuation to be love, and uses the word only in situations like suicide, or considers love to be what is described in texts like the Bible. Of course, even in other songs, the word love is sometimes used for infatuation. Song Love Can Be So Cruel by Johnny Van Zant, and sometimes for true love. Song I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. It is interesting that from the intense feeling of love and emotion, tears may flow. At such times, it is normal to breathe slowly and controlled, deeply. What is remarkable and wonderful is that after such tears, a person does not have red eyes at all, as happens after crying from suffering. On the contrary, the eyes seem even more clear. Such tears are definitely not something to be ashamed of. Tears from suffering, perhaps yes, because a person was weak and let suffering grow inside, and then had to release that suffering a little through the valve of tears, but not tears of love. Conclusion. So we mix up passion, infatuation with true love. If we mix them, we end up with chaos and unrest. Then someone says or writes to another person that they love them, and the other one does not know whether it is only infatuation or an experience of true love. In English, infatuation is falling in love. It is not falling into love. It is falling in love, so it is a fall in love. We want love, but we fall. We are only infatuated. True love in such a state of infatuation is not yet predominant. I say not predominant, because true love is everywhere and always. Only the intensity differs. More important than talking and writing about love is, of course, to feel love. For example, with songs, we often don't even pay attention to the meaning of the words. It's more about feeling the love that seems to be encoded in the very sound of the song and resonates with the love in us.